I do not. But let me first say that when Justice Ginsburg passed, it was a tough day for our country, for me personally, especially for my wife, Gabby. I mean, she looked up to her as a hero. We're less than 30 days away from an election. This should be given some thoughtful consideration. I think the next president, regardless of who it is, whether it's re-election of President Trump or Vice President Biden winning the presidency and whoever is elected to the Senate, this decision should wait till January. This is a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. And to rush it through, I think it's really important to recognize why is this being rushed through right now. And the reason is there's a Supreme Court case in November that's about the Affordable Care Act. And Senator McSally has worked incredibly hard over the last 5 years to eliminate or undermine protections for pre-existing conditions through legislation. That didn't work. She paved the way for this lawsuit that's going to be heard on November 10th, I think. And that lawsuit would take away those protections for 2.8 million Arizonans, potentially. 1 million would probably lose their insurance. The other 1.8, it could start costing a lot more. That's not the leadership we need in Washington, D.C. right now. And you got to wonder why. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but Senator McSally takes an enormous amount of corporate PAC money into her campaign. When I announced on the first day of my campaign, I announced that I'm not going to take $1 of corporate PAC money.
Senator McSally, we'll go for 45 seconds for a rebuttal. Did you vote to take away funding for pre-existing conditions?
Of course I didn't, and I hope we have more time to talk about this. I will always protect people with pre-existing conditions, and Democrats and Republicans agree about that.
Mr. Kelly, if you are in fact elected, because the seat replaces the late John McCain, you could be sworn in as soon as the votes are certified. If you are in the Senate, would you support a filibuster to delay the nomination?
Well, this whole thing indicates how broken Washington is. The discussion of the filibuster, an old Senate rule. By the way, I think it's important for everybody to understand that when it came to passing a $1.9 trillion tax cut for the wealthiest Americans and big corporations that Senator McSally voted for in 2017, the Senate was okay to go to 50 votes, so they abolished the filibuster for that. They also abolished the filibuster to try to eliminate the Affordable Care Act and those protections for pre-existing conditions. Senator McSally was okay with that too. Hey, if this comes up as a discussion, if I'm elected to the United States Senate, I will give it thoughtful consideration, and I'm going to do what's in the best interest of Arizona and our country, not what's in the best interest of one political party or the other.
Mr. Kelly, you've been a candidate for more than a year. Many people think that you should already have an answer to that question. Why would you not? Would you be able to hit the ground running on day one if you're still thinking about something
Absolutely.
like the filibuster?
I mean, we don't know if this is going to come up for even a discussion. It might, and if it does, I will give it thoughtful consideration, and I will do what's in the best interest of Arizona and Arizonans and the best interest of our country, and not the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. And I think it's important to note, very important to note, that parties aren't in power for very long, traditionally. Right? It goes from one party to the other. And whatever decision is made on this you're going to have to live with it from being on the other side. And I understand that, and I will give this thoughtful consideration in a way that, not what is in the best interest for Democrats or what's in the best interest for Republicans, what's in the best interest of Arizona.
And real quickly, Senator McSally, I think voters want to hear why it is not hypocritical for Republicans to go ahead with this during the last year of a term for President Trump when they blocked the nomination in the last year for President Obama.
The Constitution is the guide, and the precedent is that in the 10 times in history, all 29 times in history, an opening happened during an election year, all 29 times the president nominated. But when the parties were different, the 10 times, then they didn't get advice and consent. But when the parties are the same, in those 19 times, they all moved forward. Again, this is about, they want stall tactics in order to get their liberal activist judges on the bench, and they want to pack the court. The fact that Counterfeit Kelly can't even answer the question, would he vote for Chuck Schumer? Of course he'll vote for Chuck Schumer. He's Chuck Schumer's star recruit. He's poured tens of millions of dollars into this race, and he said this week, we're not going to waste this majority if we get it. They're going to abolish the filibuster. He just won't answer honestly to you, Arizona. He's saying one thing here in Arizona, but he just can't because Chuck Schumer is trying to buy this election, and you're going to stop that from happening.
I have a question, Mr. Kelly. who do you need to hear from to form an opinion on the filibuster question?
I'll need to hear an opinion from Arizonans. And when I make that decision, I will let Arizonans know. This is something that might not even come up for discussion. And if it does, I'll spend some time thinking about it. And I'll make a decision based on what's right for Arizona. You know, Senator McSally had this, I don't know how many people could even follow what she was talking about, you know, with these votes here. But what's simple about this is Washington is broken. And this highlights how broken it is that we're having these fights over old Senate rules. What we need to be focused on are people's health care. We've got a lot of individuals and families that have lost their health care due to this pandemic. The economy. These are the issues that Arizonans care about, not a rule in the United States Senate.